The following is a presentation of RMG Sports, award-winning championship television.
Powerboat racing in Huntington, West Virginia continues to bring big excitement and huge crowds. Once again, this corner of the Ohio River becomes a liquid super speedway as the nation's best are here vying for the North American Championship. Race fans, get ready. RMG's Hydro Zone from Huntington starts now. Race fans, you are looking at Harris Riverfront Park in beautiful Huntington, West Virginia, where Powerboat Nationals are on hand, ready to crown the APBA's North American champion here at the 2015 Huntington Classic Regatta. Hello again, everyone. Jared Romsberg here alongside the RMG Sports crew. Excited to be back in Huntington. Before we get going on this year's race, fans, let's take a look back at last year's race as we welcome you to the City of Huntington pre-race show, Huntington, West Virginia, where heritage comes alive. 2, Lee Daniel from North Augusta, South Carolina, earned the pole position and led the fleet of SST 120 boats off the dock at the start of the race. Screaming across the top of the Ohio River, reaching speeds nearly 90 miles an hour as they made the turn for the commitment buoy. They stacked up 4 wide, heading into turn 3 with 34 Jeff Reno lining up in second behind Lee Daniel as Lee Daniel exploded down the front stretch. The battle for third would heat up immediately as 75 Michael Floyd and 98 John Ludwig went side by side down the front stretch as they started lap 1 of this 30-lap main event. Ludwig had the position and the momentum as they went through turns 1 and 2, but Floyd hugged the buoy and grabbed the inside line, putting the Kerry Hilliard 75 boat right alongside of Ludwig for another side-by-side battle, thrilling the fans in the early laps of the 2014 race. Again, Ludwig had the position and momentum as they hit the turn, but he went a little wide, and Floyd would hug the buoys and slip to the inside, forcing Ludwig to hit his wake. Lee Daniel was trying to stretch out his lead, but he would have to maneuver through traffic as he quickly approached slower boats. Here he gets by local favorite Dana Toms from Lesage, West Virginia, and continues through the turns, trying to disappear with the lead, while the rest of the front runners would also have to maneuver through the traffic. One of those front runners who was trying to throw a lasso around Daniel was Okeechobee, Florida's Jeff Reno. He had the Kloekner Medals 34 in second after qualifying third and was clawing his way over the Ohio, trying to catch that 2 boat that was disappearing on the horizon. While he was fighting to move forward, Reno had to look back behind him as Rincon, Georgia's Michael Floyd was catching up to him. The Hurricane had qualified second, but he was running third, chasing Reno, looking for his first career podium finish in Huntington. Floyd would pull to within 5 boat lengths of Reno, but the Blue 34 would hold the position as they simply ran out of laps in Huntington. The checkered flag would fly, and the first one to cross it would be North Augusta, South Carolina's Lee Daniel, as he went wire to wire, dominating the SST 120 feature in Huntington, winning the 2014 Huntington Classic Regatta feature race. He was joined on the podium by Jeff Reno and Michael Floyd, but which drivers will hoist the trophy here in 2015? Well, fans, stick around and we'll show you that and so much more as RMG's Hydro Zone's coverage of Powerboat Nationals running of the 2015 APBA North American Championships here in Huntington continues right after this.
This presentation of the 2015 Huntington Classic Regatta is brought to you by Eco First, responsible environmental solutions for today's complex problems. The City of Huntington, Huntington, West Virginia, where heritage comes alive. By the Cabell County Commission, Cabell County, West Virginia. We invite you to visit the Huntington Classic Regatta, pure liquid excitement, online at huntingtonclassic.com. And by the Cabell Huntington Convention and Visitors Bureau, highlighting Huntington, Barbersville, and Milton, the western gateway to West Virginia. This segment of the 2015 Huntington Classic Regatta is brought to you by Eco First, responsible environmental solutions for today's complex problems.
Race fans, welcome back to Huntington, West Virginia, where we're giving you a bird's eye view of the Belle of Cincinnati. So much going on here at the Huntington Classic Regatta. But before we get going with the SST 120 racing, let's show you how they earned their slot on the dock. Too much debris in the Ohio River near the starting dock meant they had to go with a rolling start for the first of 2 heat races. Lee Daniel was the fast qualifier and earned P1 as they rocketed down the front stretch in the first heat. Mark Jacob and the Budweiser 7 struggled to catch up to Daniel as 81 Tom Ludwig and 75 Michael Floyd quickly came up to do battle in turns 1 and 2. Ludwig tried to squeeze the Eagles Nest Outfitters boat behind Jacob, but he just couldn't do it. Ran into the prop wash and had to get out of the throttle, and then would go side by side with Michael Floyd for third. Ludwig and Floyd would wow the crowd with a 5-lap side-by-side competition for the third place slot, only to have it interrupted by 34 Jeff Reno as they screamed down the front stretch of the Ohio River here in Huntington. As they flew into turn 1, Reno ripped the 34 around the buoy and went side by side with Michael Floyd. A few laps later, Michael Floyd got by Tom Ludwig for third. Here, the 81 falls victim to the 34 as Jeff Reno puts his fellow Florida driver back to fifth. Reno finished second here in Huntington last year, and he was looking to qualify well for a good starting slot on the dock. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, Mark Jacob was fighting to get the Budweiser 7 around the front runner Lee Daniel. He knew that the leader was coming into some traffic and might get slowed down as we approach the waning laps of the first heat race. The driver of the number 2 Goldmec mechanical boat, Lee Daniel, is a wily veteran, and he made it through traffic cleanly, taking the checkered flag in heat race 1. The inverted field saw 47 Jim Robb and 66 Dana Toms on the front row for the second SST 120 heat race. As the fleet screamed into turn 1, the boats at the tail end of the line stacked up 4 wide for position. This always makes things interesting, and John Ludwig, Michael Floyd, and John's brother Tom Ludwig in the 81 made contact, bringing out the caution and stopping this heat race before it even got started. The delay would cause Powerboat Nationals officials to postpone the restart of the race to the following morning. The crews went to work and amazingly got all of the boats repaired overnight. They lined them back up on the Ohio, but this time the back boats weren't going to wait. 34 Jeff Reno took command and rocketed into the lead when the green dropped. The rest of the fleet roared up behind him, with 58 Jeff Cresciano going toe-to-toe with Mark Jacob and Lee Daniel for second. This time, the rest of the boats made it through the turn without incident. Jeff Cresciano held his ground, duking it out with the Heat Race 1 winner, Lee Daniel. Eventually, it came down to straightaway speed, and Daniel had more of it. After a crowd-pleasing side-by-side battle, Daniel moved Cresciano and the Pilot Racing 58 back to third. Shortly thereafter, Mark Jacob brought the Budweiser 7 alongside of Cresciano to do battle for third. Jacob inched ahead of the 58 and then slammed the door in turn 1, taking the third place slot away from the Elk River, Minnesota native, moving him to fourth and then setting his sights on getting up front to battle for the lead. 34 Jeff Reno and 2 Lee Daniel were battling up front as the two started to approach lap traffic. Daniel left the inside lane open and Mark Jacob hopped right into it, moving alongside of the two and thrilling the huge Huntington crowd with a brief side-by-side battle. Daniel shot ahead, staying within 2 boat lengths of the leader Reno, who was approaching more slower boats as they went into turns 1 and 2. Top 3 were so close you could cover them with a postage stamp. Jeff Reno in the lead in the 34 tried to use the lapped boat of 81 Tom Ludwig to scrape off Lee Daniel, but Daniel stayed on the throttle, threaded the needle, and stayed right in Reno's right hip pocket as they screamed into turn 3, battling for the lead. These two veteran drivers went side by side through turns 3 and 4, with Reno holding the inside line, but once again we saw the straightaway speed of the Goldmec Mechanical number 2, and Lee Daniel flew into the lead ahead of Jeff Reno as they went into turn 1. Meanwhile, lurking behind these two was the red Budweiser 7 of Mark Jacob, who came up alongside of Reno as he exited turn 2. The fans in Huntington were once again treated to a thrilling side-by-side battle with 2 veteran boat racers. This time, Jeff Reno was able to escape and hold on to his position. But the position everybody wanted was taken once again by this guy as North Augusta, South Carolina's Lee Daniel crossed the line, making it a clean sweep, taking the checkered flag and earning the pole position for the feature.
We sitting on the pole, that helps us a lot. So water seems to be pretty good. It got a little rough there. Wind's getting up, so we'll see what happens on the 30 lapper. That's the one that counts.
Now let's take a look at the rest of the starting lineup for Powerboat Nationals Racing in Huntington. Starting next to Lee Daniel will be Clifton, Illinois' Mark Jacob in the Budweiser number 7 entry. Starting third, we find Jeff Reno from Okeechobee, Florida, driving the Kloekner Metals number 34. The Kerry Hilliard's Uncle Dan's Old Fashioned Ice Cream 75, driven by Michael the Hurricane Floyd, will start fourth. Elk River, Minnesota's Jeff Cresciano has the Pilot Racing 58, starting in the 5th place slot. Starting 6th in the feature race, we find John Ludwig from Millersport, Ohio, piloting the 98 Crazy Fast Enterprises entry. Starting 1 slot back, it's John's brother Tom Ludwig from St. Petersburg, Florida, piloting the 81 Eagle's Nest Outfitters boat. Stout, Ohio's Del Book has the Gorilla Glue Book Brothers Marine number 18 in the 8th place slot on the dock. Another entry from Stout, Ohio, we find 31 Jerry Gwynn, who has the Uncle Size Iced Tea 31 in the 9th slot. Starting 10th is the local favorite, Lesage, West Virginia's Dana Toms and Eco First 66. And Jim Robb, piloting the Michigan Cat 47, occupies the 11th and final slot on the dock. Fans, make sure you have a cool drink and a comfortable seat. Our coverage of Powerboat Nationals racing here at the 2015 Huntington Classic Regatta continues right after this.
This segment of the 2015 Huntington Classic Regatta is brought to you by the Huntington Classic Regatta, pure liquid excitement, online at huntingtonclassic.com.
Race fans, welcome back to the 2015 Huntington Classic Regatta. Everybody's making their way to Harris Riverfront Park for the powerboat races, but there are so many things happening in Huntington this weekend. Here's just a sample of the many family-friendly events happening with the Huntington Classic Regatta. The West Virginia Hot Dog Festival was in full effect, filling the streets of Huntington with vendors and hungry fans. There were plenty of fun, family-friendly events like the Wiener Dog Race, always popular, and the hot dog eating contest was won for the 4th year in a row by Woodrow Lewis. Not sure if anybody can stop that guy. Maybe one of these guys. The pizza eating contest, sponsored by Mancini's Pizza, was a big hit, and Harris Riverfront Park was turned into a big carnival with lots of food vendors, plenty of fun rides, a petting zoo for the kids to enjoy, and if you're into live music, the Huntington Classic Regatta had you covered. From rock to bluegrass to country, Kelsey May, a star from the NBC show The Voice, was on hand, as was Nashville sensation David Shelby entertaining the crowd. So much great live music, the amphitheater had something for everybody. The fun moved in and above the Ohio River as the Hydro Flight Stunt Show took to the water. World champion performers Nelly Kubalek and Kristen Smoyer wowed the crowd. And the WV Skydivers, bringing the American flag right down to the event, capped off a long list of great things happening in Huntington.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things going on this weekend. You can see people are coming out. This is fun for the family. The kids get to see, and every time that happens with all of the boats, and once the noise comes, it starts to echo throughout the valley, and you start seeing people start making their way on in. And we're really proud to have the Nationals here this weekend.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. I know everyone's excited to be here in Huntington as well. We got things started with the SuperSport feature race from Powerboat Nationals. 33 Chip Wavero was the best of the field, getting out in front of 18 Jerry Book. 86 Chris Book lingered back in third, trying to catch up, but Chip Wavero was just too strong, and he took home the checkered flag in the SuperSport feature race. Powerboat Nationals SST 60s were on hand, ready to battle for their North American Championship. A Huntington driver, albeit from Huntington, Pennsylvania, Toby Hood in the 64, earned the pole position and led the fleet onto the course when the flag dropped. 52 Tim Homesen and 78 David Garza started fighting for second immediately, but Homesen had trouble outside of turn 3, and Garza pounced at the chance, moving to the outside, leaving the 52 in his wake. Last year's SST feature race winner Jeff Vasco was back in fourth, trying to move up, but he would have to duke it out with 11 Mark Jacob as they moved through turns 1 and 2. Vasco would keep the E3 Sparkplugs boat in fourth, but would advance into third when, towards the end of the race, 52 Tim Homesen was stalled outside of turn 3. All this drama was a dot in the 64's rearview mirrors as Toby Hood went on to win the SST 60 feature race and become the SST 60 North American champion in Huntington.
I think it was a accumulation of getting better each time we hit the water, and we did the same thing 2 weekends ago. We really didn't know what to expect. We really didn't, but we kept working at the boat, made it a little bit better, and we ended up being the fastest one at the end.
David Garza struck a buoy, so he was docked a lap, moving him from second to third. Jeff Vasco is your SST 60 runner-up. But fans, the moment you've been waiting for is almost here. The SST 120s are moving into the water. We'll race in Huntington when we come back right after this.
This segment of the 2015 Huntington Classic Regatta is brought to you by the Cabell Huntington Convention and Visitors Bureau, highlighting Huntington, Barboursville, and Milton, the western gateway to West Virginia.
Race fans, welcome back to Huntington, West Virginia, where we're now just seconds away from starting the SST 120 North American Championship. But take a look at this. The races have been delayed for nearly 2 hours due to a huge plume of debris that has come down the Ohio River. Huntington's River Rescue Squad and so many people out on the water working hard to get the debris off of the race course. They've moved it off to the side. And now we'll take a look at the starting grid. They will start by a rolling start once again. Lee Daniel picking up right where he left off last year, gang. He's your defending race winner, but he has a ton of competition next to him trying to take that title of North American champion. We now head out to the Ohio River once again, gang. Rolling start. Too much debris in front of the dock, so they'll line up nose to tail, similar to the way stock cars will start. All eyes are on the flagman. He'll wait for the fleet to make their way through turns 3 and 4. Riding along with Jeff Cresciano there, you can see the fleet is slowly moving its way around the course as we inch closer and closer to dropping the green flag on this race. The APBA's North American Championship for the SST 120s is on the line here in Huntington, as for some reason our pole sitter Lee Daniels moving back to the back. He appears to be having some kind of trouble, or is he moving back? Doesn't matter, the green flag's in the air. We're racing in Huntington! 7, Mark Jacob activates the afterburners and explodes down the front stretch. We're on lap 1 of 30 here in the North American Championship. Side-by-side battle shaping up for second behind him. Jeff Reno on the inside, Michael Floyd on the outside. Here comes Jeff Cresciano on the inside of Jeff Reno, trying to make it a 3-wide battle for second as they scream out of turn 2 and down on the backstretch. And the caution flies. Red flag is out, flares in the air. All boats are to come to a stop on the race course. As we look for the cause of the caution, we need look no further than turn 4. Our pole sitter, Lee Daniel, is sitting outside of turn 4 stall. The engine is off, and we're hearing that he struck some debris in the water. Our pole sitter, Lee Daniel, has brought out the first caution of the race. His boat sits silently outside of turn 4, gang. Let's take a look on the replay to see if we can find out what happened. We're zooming in the video here a little bit. Watch that boat in the middle of the screen. Oh, clearly you could see that boat lurch forward. He struck something big, or something reached up out of the Ohio and grabbed onto his boat. That's right on board with Mark Jacob, who was riding in second outside. Let's take a look at the back of that tube. Oh, right there. Oh, you can see it pop up. Big piece of debris in the Ohio River struck by Lee Daniel, and it has silenced our pole sitter. We're going to wait for them to get this all cleaned up and sorted out, gang. We're going to step out to a break. Don't move. We have more from the SST 120 North American Championships here in Huntington, West Virginia when we come back right after these words.
This presentation of the 2015 Huntington Classic Regatta was brought to you by Eco First, responsible environmental solutions for today's complex problems. The City of Huntington, Huntington, West Virginia, where heritage comes alive. By the Cabell County Commission, Cabell County, West Virginia, we invite you to visit the Huntington Classic Regatta, pure liquid excitement, online at huntingtonclassic.com. And by the Cabell Huntington Convention and Visitors Bureau, highlighting Huntington, Barboursville, and Milton, the western gateway to West Virginia.
Race fans, welcome back to Huntington, West Virginia, where Powerboat Nationals officials have just had to make the heartbreaking decision to cancel the rest of this race. You can see why as the boats gently move through this debris, trying to get back to their trailers. Look at the Ohio River, gang. All of the rain that has happened in the Northeast has washed so much debris into the Ohio River, right smack in the middle of the race course, forcing officials to cancel this race. So, because they didn't complete a lap in the feature, the final order will be based on the qualifying order. That means our pole sitter, Lee Daniel from North Augusta, South Carolina, has been announced as the winner of this race and is now your new 2015 APBA SST 120 North American champion. We welcome you now to the Cabell County Commission post-race show, Cabell County, West Virginia. We invite you to visit. Let's catch up with our newly crowned champ.
A win is a win, but I love to do it on the course, and I'll see Mark Jacobs and all of them next year. We'll race for it this time. Well, when we come around turn 4 and we was coming up to speed, I hit a big old log and it kicked the tail end of my boat up and spun the prop out and cracked some stuff in the boat, and I shut it off because it thought it tore my prop and all up, so I just shut my engine off. And then they throwed the red flare and then they called it a race.
While Lee's excited to win, like he said, you know he would much rather have done it out on a race course rather than through cancellation of the feature race. Let's catch up to our runner-up.
Just another great race, another great event. You know, Huntington's a great town. Love to come here. You know, the people are great. So yeah, we'll be back. Just hopefully without the debris next time. I had got to run in that 60 race a little bit, so I knew that the debris was out there, and I didn't realize it was quite that bad, but I knew it was there, and just didn't know how it was going to go when we went in.
Third place finisher from 2014, Michael Floyd, misses the podium this year. Jeff Cresciano rounds out the top 5. Let's catch up with our final podium finisher, Jeff Reno.
Oh, turn 1 was great, but whenever I got out of turn 2, going down the back stretch, and they red flagged it, and it was a good thing they did because it was getting a little dangerous out there. It was close to the edge of our racing course, and by the time they had red flagged it, it had moved out onto the course. Those guys, I couldn't catch them. Once they got next to me, they would get in front of me. I couldn't get back around them. So I need a little bit more prop work done, and that's what I learned this weekend.
Well, race fans, despite a disappointing end to the SST 120 feature race, we had an absolutely fantastic time in the great city of Huntington, as always. Congratulations to our SST 120 North American champion, Lee Daniel. On behalf of the entire RMG Sports crew, I'm Jared Romsberg. Thank you, Huntington. Until next time, fans, we'll see you 24/7 at rmgsports.net.